welcome back. Episode 47 of Minecraft is here, and yeah, I'm serious. I'm serious about getting to 50. I had a little I don't know, this problem issue with trying to record before this. So yeah, I'm just it's nothing major. It's really just like OBS on my laptop, on my new laptop. Not so new anymore. Yeah, it's like a year old, but yeah, it's a thing, man. I don't know. Something is up with OBS where it just won't recognize it whenever I try. Yeah, whenever I like select like properties under like I want to add my video capture device, because sometimes I keep the Elgato plugged in at almost all times. So like, I don't know. I guess sometimes it blacks out, sometimes it doesn't show. It's usually like it works 90% of the time, but I guess this is one of the 10% where it just does not work. So it's fine. I'm using another laptop to record this, and I think it's good. So yeah, I'm just keeping it short and sweet. So I think like there was a section in a previous episode that I just entirely cut out because yeah, I was talking about that issue then. But it just largely became irrelevant. So anyways, anyways, you know what's not irrelevant? Anti-Semitism. Sorry, man. I'm so sorry, man. It is like anti-Semitism is just such a major issue. Okay, it's like it is prevalent. Like people are making it prevalent in society today. It's like, God, like seriously, yeah. Why is it so hard? Like, why is it so hard? It's just such an issue. Like today, like my God, it's yeah, obviously. There are two people in particular, but it's that I'm thinking about here. But yeah, it's just beyond that. It's just troubling to see. It's really troubling to I don't know. I mean, obviously, personally, like I'm not Jewish, but it's like I could just I would assume I would be very. Like, I would assume there's a lot of Jewish people who are, basketball fans, of a certain team, maybe, who are just, like, going through it right now on top of all of the other freaking issues surrounding that team. It's like, oh, man, it's hard, Yeah, I guess. Why am I not saying Kyrie's name? It's like, yeah, I guess. I need to keep the role consistent, right? If I'm gonna be like name names in regards to publishing drama, it should be like name names in regards to freaking stuff I'm talking about, Yeah, I mean, it's not. There really is nothing other to say than it's just like he like spread freaking misinformation and like hatred out there, basically. Not like hate, yeah. I mean, yeah, hatred in the form of a documentary that had like very, very false information about Jewish people, and included quotes from a guy with the initials of AH, World War II. It's like it's and the whole thing, like he tweeted out a link to it at first, right? That was the initial thing, and then it's called Hebrews to Negroes, right? Hebrews to Negroes, Wake Up Black America. Yeah, it's still on Amazon. The documentary is still on Amazon, I guess. Like, I don't know why you would want to freaking see it or read the book or whatever, but yeah, it's yeah, and then, like the thing where he later justified, or it's like I wasn't promoting that. And then now it's like, there are tweets where it's like there are tweets where the book or the documentary is number one on Amazon. It's like, yeah. I mean, that's the thing too, that like Amazon should be probably at fault too for freaking hosting that, right? Yeah, but it's yeah, obviously. It's just a bad situation all around, And the bad situation in terms of, like, how this whole thing was dealt with, right? It's like, how do you deal with, like, a player, like, freaking basically just, I don't know, who just will not, like, because the second, the first part was, like, tweeting the link. The second part of it was in a post-game interview, he was asked about this, and that he just refused to say, I do not have anti-Semitic beliefs. He refused like to say that. He just refused because I don't know, he got into a heated exchange with a reporter. Was it Nick Friedel? And then who reports on the Nets, and then he at the end of it, he was like, change your life, bro. And very, very heated, very accusatory. Kyrie acted. And then later on, he was it's a lot. Recapping it, it's all fresh because yesterday was the press conference, right? There was a second press conference afterwards where the Nets, the Nets GM or owner decided, the Nets GM decided we're gonna keep Kyrie away from the media for a few days because he needs time to cool down. He, like a child, it's like he needs time. It's like he needs time to simmer down. It's and then the next time he had microphones in front of him, which was yesterday. As of recording this, it was Thursday morning. He continued to deny or take any responsibility. And then, when asked straight up, it's like, do you have any anti-Semitic beliefs? He just gave a very roundabout question. It's like, you trying to get me to answer this. It's like, why are you trying to get me to answer this? And then after his initial answer, a lot of the reporters were just saying, I think people were wanting a yes or no to that question, Kyrie. I think people wanted just a yes or a no. Do you have anti-Semitic beliefs? Yes or no? Kyrie, do you have anti-Semitic beliefs? Yes or no? And then he said,
I think what people want to hear, though, is just a yes or no on that question. Yes or no.
I cannot be anti-Semitic if I know where I come from.
Which basically was one of the messages of that documentary. And extremely, extremely problematic and bad. And in response, this team decided to suspend him. Finally, action to be done. The commissioner of this freaking league issued a statement being like, I am very upset he did not give an unqualified apology. I'm gonna meet with him in the next week. And then that as it stands now is that he actually put out another statement apologizing specifically to the Jewish community. And as of tonight, as of today, Nike suspended his deal. So another hip person in the hip hop world. It's who was dropped by Adidas and Gap and oh man. It's a whole mess, basically. It's just a whole mess. But the conclusion is how hard is it? Why is it so hard for some people to just not be anti-Semitic? It's I don't know. It's sad. It's just sad. Just forms of just bigotry and hatred just still just being so prevalent, and a lot of people just not having a problem with it. And the real glaring issue that a lot of people are pointing out is that a lot almost every current pretty much every current player in the league right now hasn't said anything publicly about their any issue with Mr. Irving's statements. It's it's at least one, at least a few people should be I don't know, is it that hard to tweet to even just tweet in response to this, not even directly tagging him or mentioning him, that just to state a tweet being anti-Semitism has no place in our society? It's anything, I don't know. It really is the thing that where it's I feel from an outside perspective looking in, it's you look at the NBA in comparison to other sports leagues, and it's oh, they're pretty progressive, look at that. But you know, yeah, like a user on Reddit pointed out that it's like, yeah, they're progressive on the issues like that they care about. It's like to all the other issues, it's like, nah, they really aren't that freaking, you know. And there's other things too going on in the league that like are like, you know, how much do they even care about freaking, you know, women, you know? Oh man, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, you know, I might have been a little distasteful about was it the Ime Udoka situation, you know? If you know, I guess I'm assuming people like, you know, if you want to know about this, I don't know, you could just like look up stuff on ESPN. You could just search these things in relation. If you just go on ESPN's YouTube channel, there's a bunch of like, it's all stories, you know? If you just, yeah, go to the website, I would assume. Yeah, and I guess I might have been a little distasteful because it's like, yeah, I think like the current view on it now is that Ime Udoka just had, I don't know, it was just, I guess, toxic towards like a lot of women staffers on the Celtics, in the Celtics organization or something. Like on top of, you know, I mean, the big one is that like he, you know, had a consensual like relationship with like a Celtic staffer, but it's like, I mean, obviously that's only, it seems to be that that's only the tip of the iceberg. And you know, lo and behold, the team that Kyrie Irving is on fired its coach recently, and its replacement is that guy. Oh man, yeah, that was like, oh my god, like when, yeah, true, Steve Nash getting fired, and then it's like the net, and then reading it's like Ime Udoka's in consideration. They're finalizing a deal right now. It's like, oh boy. It's just a lot. It's just crazy to follow, man. Yeah. Oh man, just, you know, a lot. There, you know, there's a San Antonio Spurs player who, you know, exposed himself to you know, a psychologist there. It's like really, like all this stuff is going on at the same time. Yeah, there was another player who got arrested on charges of domestic violence. It's like, it's like oh man. True, it has not been a good month for the NBA, on top of just like a guy punching his freaking teammate. Jesus. It has not been really good for the league's like public perception, you know. Yeah. Oh man. True, did I talk about like I don't know. There's a lot of people who are like old school, I guess, like NBA like people who like remember the previous commissioner before Adam Silver, David Stern, right? And like, yeah, I mean, I think like you know, like learning information about him, it seems he was just such like a frickin' like takes no BS type guy. Like he like there was a time. Yeah, there was a time when, yeah, I don't know. God, again, if I care about editing, I'll find it, but whatever. I'll try to like reenact it as well as I can. This guy called Jim Rome was like asking him about like the draft lottery and like what actions have you been taking or something, and then like David Stern just like got pissed off at him, and being like, why are you asking that question? And then Jim Rome was like, I think it's a fair question. And then David Stern in response was like, are you still beating your wife? like that guy's a frickin', like, seriously, man, that guy, oh man, if he was in charge of the league right now, what he would do, we don't know. Oh man. It's just such a thing, man. Anyways, is that all the talk I needed to get out, you know? I mean, I could also talk about like Kanye West stuff, but I feel like that's even more just like God, it's just, you know, it's too much, man. I'm just gonna, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, LaCroix's good. I don't know, just what like, yeah. Basically, just the lesson. It's like, yeah, anti-Semitism is just not good, you know. It's very, very obvious, but you know. Oh man, I don't know, man. I don't, it's just, I mean, obviously I'm talking about it because, like, you know, I've been exposed to it. I've been exposing myself to it, and I'm, you know, I guess it's, you know, a thing. Like, following what's going on has been very of interest to me, you know. I don't know, but it's like, yeah, I mean, there can be better freaking sources of drama than this. It's like, yeah, like it's not good. It's not good. It's just not a good thing. It shouldn't have been. It shouldn't have been freaking, like, you know, obviously, Kyrie shouldn't have, you know, said those things, done those things, like, a lot of times in his career. Like, I don't know, like, you know, as I don't know. Oh man, but yeah, okay. What else has been going on? Yeah, a titan has fallen among us. You know, a titan of a hero has fallen. Oh man, yeah. Remember when I just, like, you know, man. Yeah, when I say remember, I really mean, like, I remember, right? I'm really remembering it myself. I talked about, you know, there being a place where you can download, you know, things. Yeah, it's gone, man. It's gone. Yeah, but it's like, you know, obviously it's not the end of the world, because it's like, I'm sure there are other, like, sites, you know, I'm sure there will be other sites to replace, you know, the thing that was lost. But yeah, man, dude, I'm just so bad at this game. Oh man, I thought I had enough armor. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, there will be a site to replace it, you know. There are already other sites, but it's like, it was just the most, I feel like, accessible one, you know. You know what I'm talking about, you know. I don't know. I guess, you know, probably we should be safe and, like, not name names in this situation, but yeah. The word on Twitter is that, like out, as ridiculous as it sounds, it could be due to frickin' Colleen Hoover. Because Colleen Hoover is just one of the very most popular frickin', like, authors talked about on TikTok, I guess. It's like, people make TikToks showcasing her books and like, talking about her books, and it's like, and apparently, I guess, teenagers really got interested in, like, you know, they wanted an easy place, you know. They didn't want to, you know, pay for these books. So apparently that's what did it in, you know. But, like, that's the thing. It's like, there's so many, like, sites that are just like, you think it's like, they're just like hanging by a thread in terms of, like, I don't know. I mean, like, you know, it's like, I know sites where it's like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Obviously, I'm talking about pirating here, where it's like, you know, like, all these pirating sites, it's like, they're just hanging by, just like, you're just so, like, afraid. You're just so, like, how long am I gonna, you know, how long am I gonna be able to use this, you know? Yeah, it's I guess it's a thing that, like, you know, just don't, you know, the larger lesson is that you just shouldn't take things for granted in life, you know. You should appreciate things while they last, right? Obviously, that's the larger lesson. And that college textbook companies, you know, it's like, please, be just not horrible. But it's like, you know. I think it's also, yeah. It's also like a, you know, a thing, like, you know, when I talked about that in an earlier episode, it's also a thing on the professors, right? I feel like professors, like, if they're, you know, if they care about students, should probably look for alternatives, and, you know, and yeah, I think, like, in my recent classes, like, I haven't really had that much of an issue, but, like, I think, like, there were a few times where, like, being able to get a book, you know, you know, easily, like, helped me out, right? So it's like, you know, it's always nice. It's just a nice, it's a resource, you know. Yeah, and on top of that, there are tweets of people, like, from, like, you know, like, poorer countries, you know, not Western countries, who are making very valid points of, like, yeah, like, they can't afford freaking books. It's like, it's like, that's the thing. It's like, I don't know, like, any, like, like, a lot of people, you know, would just be like, what do you mean you can't afford books, you know? But it's like, yeah, like, seriously, it's like, I don't know. Yeah, like I mean I do know. It's like, especially if you need them for, education, right? And it's like you it is like a valuable resource, I don't know. It shouldn't be looked at as, it shouldn't be, looked at as like, I don't know. It shouldn't be like a very one-sided issue. There you know, facets and layers to this. Yeah, it's like, yeah, they're just like the layers being that, like, like those sites, the sites are like, essential to people who are like, who live in, countries where it's like, the conversion rate, it's very expensive. They don't have that much money. Or like, governments, whereas countries where the government, restricts certain types of books, because that's definitely a thing, right? Yeah. Yeah, yeah, like LGBT books, for instance. It's like, it's a thing. Yeah, that's like, where it's like a digital copy is the only thing they can get. Yeah, it's way bigger of a thing, right? Yeah, I don't know. I guess that's the whole thing of just like how much of like piracy is justified, right? I don't know. Everyone has their own like line, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Like, is it a controversial thing to just like be generally in favor of piracy in almost like everything? It's, yeah, I mean, it's the whole thing of just like in general, like information should just be like more accessible, right? Yeah, I don't know. There's just so much like in each like section. Yeah, I don't know. I talked a little about like music piracy, right? Yeah. But like, I don't know, I don't know, yeah, where the issues are just like, it's a thing, I don't know. Like each little, like, I don't know, when you want to talk about like TV shows and movies and music and like anime and like books and like, like, yeah, I don't know. Is anyone like, quote, owed a right to any of that, right? I don't know. Yeah, there's just there's an interesting, I guess, discussion to be had about piracy, but I guess, yes, I don't know. If you want my view, I guess I'm generally in favor of it, especially like the arguments, about I'm very compelled by the arguments, saying that like, to the people who like can't afford these things, right? And then, and like their situation in the country they live in, like, has, gives them like issues in like obtaining, the books, in, I guess, specifically in this instance that they want to get, right? Yeah, it's a thing. So, yeah, can I just go down the line? Yeah, what are you? Yeah, music piracy. I mean, I feel like the battle is mostly lost on that front, man. It really is mostly lost. I mean, it's like, how are you gonna get people to pay for music? It's like, well, yeah, I mean, yeah, Spotify and Apple, I guess. Like the issue is musicians demanding more of a cut from Spotify and Apple Music. Yeah, that's the issue. I feel like, I don't know. Yeah, I think like, I don't think there really has been. I really don't think the conflict is really with musicians and the people pirating music, right? Like, it really isn't. Like, the conflict is with musicians and like all of these structures, right? The conflict is with musicians and like stuff like Ticketmaster and like stuff like, venues not paying them properly or something. Like, there's something where, like, is it like venues are taking like percentages of the merch bands sell? It's like why are they doing that? Right? It's like there's just so much like ingrained issues like already there, where it's like, I don't think a single musician is gonna get mad at a single person in the random person in their home who decides to download their album, off the internet instead of, pay for it. I don't think so. I really do not think, like, what musicians say anyways is that, like, they make most of their money through touring, right? And the whole thing of like, it's still being currently, a pandemic, right? And like COVID being more of an issue to deal with, right? And it's like, yeah, it's getting harder and harder to sustain a tour, right? And musicians have been like, somewhat cancel. Yeah, like a lot of musicians have been canceling tours because it's like it's not economically feasible, right? You know, the whole like yeah, like a lot of like bands just doing tours that just put them into red. There are bands that do that. Yeah, there's a decent amount of them. Yeah, musicians that do that or that like have said that before. Yeah, so it's like I don't know. Yeah, it really is mostly just like dealing with music piracy. It's like it's structural, right? Way more on like musicians are, like what needs to change is like I don't know. I guess Spotify needs to like, give artists a bigger cut, But yeah, again, I discussed I get in that episode that like in turn it would like raise its prices. Probably it would use that as a justification to raise its prices, and then like the general like music listener on Spotify would get upset, and it's like I mean, that's the thing. It really, it's just all just so like structural with music. There have been there are some people who are like who advocate for just a generally like having like stipends from the government, but it's like I mean obviously that's like that's about as useful as talking about freaking universal health care in the US. So it's like with movies and TV shows, what is the stance? I mean, I don't know. Is that like necessarily? Yeah, because with that, it's like Warner Brothers. Yeah, like HBO Max's thing, right? I forgot to talk about that. I think, like HBO Max has just been like cutting frickin' things from its platform without notice. It's just like it's been just cutting shows that it paid to produce, right? Like it cut Close Enough. It's like how do you watch Close? It canceled Close Enough. I think. I don't know, like how, like a cartoon made by, was it J.G. Quintel who made a regular show? It's like, how do you, like it's removing little shows from its platform and making it so that you can't view them. Like that, like with that, it's like, how is piracy not justified? What is the argument against it, right? Like, that's the thing, there comes to be a point with, like, I think especially with like animation on HBO Max where it's like piracy is literally like preservation. It's like where else can you freaking see these things that HBO Max have decided to just like cancel because they just want to shift into like reality TV and stuff. It's like where? It's like honestly, it's like if you can name freaking like a place to just like legally see it, it's like it's like seriously, it's just, I don't know, like in that specific case, it's like piracy is like the only way you can like reasonably see it, right? It just sucks on that front. And like piracy is partly the reason why I finished Better Call Saul, so season 6 is not on Netflix, so I guess you can assume from there. And it's like, I guess like the argument also is like with like older shows, right? It's like if it's not on Netflix or Hulu or readily available, like that's the whole thing. Like if it's not on Netflix or Hulu, right, or like a streaming service, right, it's like I feel like it's a whole thing. I think anime is like kind of this too, right, where it's like anime is just so segmented in terms of like the platforms and like which ones it carries, right? It's like there's just so much, right? I keep on like thinking about like there are just certain like animes that just aren't on like Crunchyroll or HDive or whatever the hell friggin' like Netflix, Hulu, or frickin' Funimation. I just like see like I don't even know. VRV. Oh man, I don't know. It's like God. It's like just it's I don't know. But like like certain animes like Love Hina, right? Love Hina is the one I think about all the time, right? Where it's like, to my knowledge, I do not think Love Hina, that specific show, is just, it's not on Crunchyroll, it's not on Netflix, it's not on Hulu, It's not on Funimation. It's not on VRV. It's not on. It's like, okay, well then where would you reasonably expect someone to like view it legally then? It's like, where? Like, it's like, oh, you want to view it legally? It's like literally just go on eBay or something and literally just like track down a frickin' DVD like set, for like $50 or something, like a 30, like at least like $30. It's like, really, you expect people like to like I don't know. It's like, what is the expectation with like shows like that? Like, what is the expectation if something isn't readily available on like pretty much any platform? It's like, what is the expectation if you want someone to view something legally, right? I don't know. Like, well, like really, honestly, what is the expectation? Yeah. And like, yeah, I guess what I'm talking about with like TV shows where it's like, like if people want to see just old obscure stuff, right? It's like, is anyone gonna get upset? Is anyone gonna get upset if they don't use a legal way to watch The Twilight Zone? Is anyone gonna get upset? I mean, it's readily available on Paramount Plus, and like, it used to be on Netflix, right? But it's like, I don't know. It's the old thing. Like, I don't know. I guess I'm like talking against the wall, But it's like, I'm posting these to YouTube, people can view it. I don't know. Yeah, if anyone's watching, anyway, you can like comment your thoughts again. Yeah, comments are always welcome on my channel. So, yeah, it's like, honestly, it's like, where do you expect these like people to see it? I don't know. It's the whole thing. It's like, yeah. Like for a lot of things, it's like a pirated site is the only way you can view some like very obscure freaking show or movie. It's like, I don't know, you just can't, like, can you reasonably expect everyone to just like, if they want to watch something, they have to track it down like in physical form, because like a lot of it is just not on streaming services at all, right? It's like, I don't know. It's like, yeah, like that's the thing. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, like, like really the argument against piracy is strongest when it's like a movie that just came out, right? It's like, if a movie came out, a month ago, right, and is still in theaters, right? And that's, yeah, I guess the argument is pretty hard to be like, really, you can't like spare like 12, 13, 14 dollars. I think movie tickets are more expensive than that, but it's like, you can't spare the however much money. But yeah, but then again, it's like, yeah, it's like but then again, it's like affordability, right? It's like a lot of people say that books are expensive. It's like, yeah, they are, like new copies of books, right? Like, if you like big epic adult fantasy that in a hardcover, right? If you want to get it in hardcover, which, it first comes out in, and it isn't a paperback at first, right? And it's like, dude, like, they can cost up to like 20, like over $20, right? It's like like serious. It's like a lot of people don't have the money for that, and it's like they're not only fans of just one particular book. Like, they're like, if these people like reading, they like reading a lot of books, right? Yeah, I mean, obviously obviously like libraries are just such a good thing in that scenario, but it's like, I don't know, that's the thing. It's like, yeah, they have to wait for like libraries to like carry these books, right? Yeah, it's a thing. Yeah, I think like with newer stuff, right? I think like there's a stronger argument, to be made against pirating, which I agree with, right? I think I would agree with the notion that like if something is newer, that like you should either just like wait for like a legal way to friggin' obtain it, a library, or like if it's an album, you just only stream it, I guess, until you can buy the CD. Right? Well, I mean, I guess paying for Spotify or Apple or whatever costs money, but yeah, I guess like you can only like view the art you can pay for, right? Like that's what like really is the thing here. It's like, I don't know, like, yeah, like, the whole thing. It's about like, yeah, like art, like, like how much should like should art be like paywalled, I guess, I mean, a New York Times subscription is paywalled, to be honest. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think that's reasonable. I mean, those things are reasonable because like that like it goes to the people who work at like the New York Times, right? That it goes to that, right? I guess I think in some way, maybe not directly, but in some way. But you know, yeah, I guess that's like TV shows and movies, yeah, in anime, I guess. Yeah, what are the other one? Yeah, books. What are my views? Yeah. Yeah, I think it's probably pretty much the same. It's like, yeah, with college textbooks, right? It's like, is there any argument against, like, or is there any argument against pirating it? Like, like pirating them? It's like, I don't know. I really don't think there is. Yeah, I mean, I understand authors who really don't want freaking people to pirate their books. I understand that. Yeah, that's, reasonable, you know. Yeah, I feel like, I mean, I won't judge any author for that, right? I don't know. I guess I've been thinking, like, for myself, like, yeah, I would be okay, like, if people decided to, pirate. It's like, yeah, I would be okay, right? Yeah, I guess it's a thing, right? Yeah. I mean, I'm not choosing, like, right now to, like, I guess, like, post, my writing for free. Like, not even, like, snippets or, like, anything, right? Of my work in progress, which a lot of, authors are doing on Twitter now. Yeah. A lot, a decent amount of them. I don't know. But, oh, man, it's just, a lot. Yeah, so I guess that's the whole issue. It's a whole discussion, I guess. I guess that's somewhat an episode, right? What else has been going on? Yeah, what is the big picture on piracy here? Like, yeah, that's the thing. Is like, is piracy an objectively good thing? It's like I don't, like, for me, like, I guess, like, I personally, like, no, like, I wouldn't say that pirating is, like, yes, it's your necessary duty to pirate. Like, I wouldn't, like, say that. Like, I'm not saying that, but it's like, like, should you try to understand the reasons why people pirate certain things? It's like, yes, yeah. You should, like, people should, like, try to understand, like, people have, extenuating circumstances that prevent them from friggin', legally paying for, the whatever, types of media that they want to consume. It's like, yeah, that's the whole thing. Yeah, I guess. What about, like, other things? What about, like, someone who, like, posts, like someone's Patreon videos? Is that legally? I don't know. With, like, creators? I don't know. I guess I'm just gonna, I don't know, steer clear of that, Is there any other forms of just, like, pirating that I need to, paintings, right? You can't. Oh man, dude. Oh man. Oh god. Like what? Yeah. What would pirating a painting be like? Yeah. Well, I mean, other than stealing it, right? Yeah, like not paying for the art museum fee. It's, yeah. I mean, I don't yeah. Like, museums are for, like, the experience rather than just, like, you're paying for a specific painting. So I guess, it really doesn't work like that. Yeah, so I guess generally, like, yeah, I think I'm the most sympathetic towards anti-piracy, like, sentiments and concerns with, like, books, right? Because I guess I really like, literature. I guess I would say I'm a fan of literature, even though, I don't read most literature. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, like, say they're, like, readers or, like, bookworms, but, like, only stick to certain types of books. I mean, a lot of people say, yeah, like, it's fine. Yeah, like, I like freaking, like, 20th century, like, American literature, and, like, yeah, classic American literature, and, like, contemporary YA, and yeah, pretty much. There's other, like books that stand out to me, but yeah, that's mostly, like, the books I kind of like. So yeah, and middle grade too. So yeah, I guess I'm most sympathetic towards people who are, like, anti-piracy in regards to books. But I don't know. Like with music, like I feel like the battle has already been lost, right? With movies and TV shows, like like it what HBO Max is doing is very like it makes you very like it's hard to not be pro freaking piracy after like seeing what's going on there, right? And yeah, and just generally like I don't know, man. I don't know. Like the thing is like, should you feel bad? Oh hey, I know what a donkey is. Look at that. Like, should you feel bad for pirating? It's like, I don't know. I'm sure there are some people who like actually like feel bad, because of it. I don't know. I guess it's like when I learned of like sites and stuff, it's like, did I feel bad when I was first downloading? It's like, yeah, I mean, honestly, not really that much, right? I don't know. I never, video games, that's a whole thing. I don't know. Yeah, pirating video games. Yeah, I mean, I think like that with that, like, Steam exists, right? The whole like Gabe Newell. It's not a piracy is not a price issue. It's a supply chain issue or something. It's like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess my feelings is mostly like the same on that front. It's like, I guess, yeah, with like indie games in particular, yeah, like it depends on like your thing, right? Yeah, but I guess it can also be compared to like, oh, it's okay to pirate AAA games, but don't pirate indie games, right? It's kind of the same thing as like, don't shoplift. It's okay to shoplift from Target, but just don't shoplift from the mom and pop store, right? It's like, yeah, and like, I actually have read a few tweets where it's like, it his like shoplifting at like Walmart or Target is not worth it, right? Yeah. Did I even mention that there literally used to be a subreddit that was just called r/shoplifting, and people would post the things they shoplifted there, right? People would just post that. People would just post pictures of the things that they shoplifted. Like, I wish I could like show it, but I don't know. It's like, that literally was a thing. Like, there was a shoplifting subreddit. Literally, man. Oh, man. I think there was also another subreddit called stealing. Yeah, it's like my god. And then like that subreddit just like had a code of just like only the major stores. No freaking mom and pop shops. It's like whether it's like I don't know. I guess it like might sound noble, but it's like, I don't know. Yeah, it's just like yeah, like yeah, I guess shoplifting, I don't know. Yeah, there's been I don't know. Yeah, yeah, I guess some people have some like interesting thoughts on shoplifting, but yeah, I mean, I would assume I'm on the side of most people agreeing that like shoplifting isn't generally a good thing to do, right? Like it's just yeah, it is a crime, it's bad, but I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. I talked about stealing enough, Oh man, everyone has their own like shoplifting story, right? Yeah, like that's the mark of like being like, young. It's like, you have like a story based on where it's like, oh, I shoplifted a candy bar once, right? It's like everyone's done it, right? I remember. I don't know. Look, man. Look, I guess I'm gonna out myself right now. I remember as a teenager. It wasn't even that long ago. I think it was like 2016 or 17. I guess that it was a bit of a time ago. But like I remember being like really thirsty, like walking to Walmart one day, right? Like I walked all the way to Walmart. It probably was the summer, right? And then while I was at the Walmart, I literally just took a Gatorade off the shelf in one of the aisles and just drank it. I drank like 70% of it, and then I just like, left it there. Oh man, look man, I'm sorry. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that, but yeah, I was just thirsty, man. I was just freaking thirsty, kind of like I am now. Yeah, I mean, I could cut these parts out, but whatever. No, man, yeah, so I guess, like, is that, like, my big conclusion on, like, piracy in general? yeah, like the whole thing, the conclusion is that, like, piracy is, like, a more complicated issue than you might think, right? It's obviously, right? There are circumstances people have that like where it's like you have to, like, people probably should be more, like, sympathetic, like empathetic towards, people who, can't afford, things, right? Yeah, it's like people should probably, like, have more, like, I don't know, like, yeah, whatever, like, consideration, I guess. Yeah. And that, like, there are, like, there are arguments to be made that there are valid reasons to pirate, as in, like, HBO Max and stuff, yeah. But, like, there are some, like, instances, where piracy is, like, yeah, it's like what can you honestly do about it? Because it's like, again, in regards to music, right? It's like artists post, like the audio, like, versions of their songs on their YouTube pages, right? And there's a site, where, like, there's a site that exists that where those, things can be, like, those videos can be useful, right? It's like, yeah, that's the thing. Like, I personally admit, it's like I've downloaded a lot of albums that way. But yeah, like, recently, I have been doing that less, and I have been, like, wanting to get, more just albums from CDs, right? It's like, yeah, like, I feel like that's also a thing too. It's like, if people just, like, like, yeah, again, like, more people should just, for music, right? More people should try using CDs, like, well, yeah, seeking out CDs. Because if you have the money for it, right, it's like, I don't know. Yeah, I guess, like, trying to, like, buy all your new music, right, it can, be expensive, but I don't know. Like, if you want, like, Is This It by The Strokes, right, it's like, under $5 on Amazon, right, like, I think. So, I guess it's also a thing, right? There are the people who I guess I haven't mentioned, like, the people who, like, have the money, like, have the resources, but are just, like, cheap asses, basically. And, I guess I will be the first one to admit I might fall into that category sometimes, but, I actually have paid for concerts, right? I've paid to see artists live. Like, I've paid for albums, right? Like, I've paid for, I haven't really paid that much for, like, newer albums, but I have paid for, like, my secondhand CDs. So I guess, does it make me slightly better than the person who only pirates? Like, I don't know. Like, am I? Like, is the person who gets all their music through, like, secondhand, like, CD stores, slightly better? Yeah. Because you're supporting the store, right? Yeah. It's mostly that, like, you're supporting the store rather than the artist, right? It's the whole thing, like, buying music, like, what is the optimal way to support artists, right? Yeah, I mean, I think artists have mostly said, like, it's true merch and, like, supporting them on tour, like, buying concert tickets. So, yeah, there was a time where, album sales were the main source of revenue for artists. Yeah, like, not anymore. Yeah, yeah, and the whole, like, people only wanting to buy vinyls for Taylor Swift and Adele and stuff. It's like, oh, man, I don't know. With music particularly, there's just so many, like, other issues in regards to piracy. Yeah, so I guess, is that issue done with, man? Yeah, what's another thing? What is this episode's Olive Garden rant? Oh, man, that was a good rant, man. I don't know, that was good. Yeah, that's freaking good. Oh, yeah, do I have any other, like, small stuff that I should get to? I don't know. Anyway, so, am I gonna pay $8 a month for a blue check mark? Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, probably not, man. Yeah. It'd be interesting, like, if that plan actually goes true, like, the mass loss of blue check marks, right? It's like so many people are just gonna not freaking pay for it, right? Oh, man. I really, yeah, it seems this Twitter owner guy is like, yeah, again, a lot of people have been yeah, tweeting about him on the platform that he owns now, you know, and he's like why, like, yeah, you know, it's like, my God, dude, I don't know. Are there people who actually find him funny, man? I feel like his humor is like almost entirely like Reddit humor, and it's like a lot of people on Twitter are, yeah, like so many people on Twitter are just like just not with it, you know? Yeah. Yeah, that's basically, yeah, you know, what else, what more is there even to say, you know, about that? Yeah, so, yeah, any other things I've been interested in? I don't, yeah, what is that? Ooh, I could try taming this horse. Yeah. Yeah, any other things? Yeah, any other things I would like to discuss? Yeah, again, what is my Olive Garden rant of this episode? That just came naturally, man. I don't know. I was just like, my throat was just like hurting throughout that. I don't know. I was just on another level. I was just like, please. Again, like, it's okay to like Olive Garden, okay? I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I think I was just mostly just being like, just joking. Just, I don't know. I was in jest. Olive Garden is freaking, you know, mediocre, but it's like, you know, it's fine. It's fine. Man. Yeah, I don't know. Italian food, yeah, I talked about it before, like, Italian food in general, right? I'm not too, like, I don't know. I guess it's not mainly a food that has many, like, appealing dishes to me, you know? Yeah, like, I've already shared my thoughts about spaghetti. Yeah, like spaghetti and like ravioli and like lasagna and you know, like all of those just like heavily like, you know, tomato sauce like intensive, and it's like, yeah, I don't know, it really is just like, yeah, again, it's like most like 99% of, you know, my, you know, distaste for, you know, sauces and condiments is literally just the smell, right? It's like, I just can't, like, I don't know, how do people get over the smell of freaking all these things? Like, it just doesn't smell good. It just doesn't smell good, you know? Yeah, like other thing, yeah, there are other things. Yeah, like, did I talk about pickles, right? It's like these smells just like overpower. It's like, it's too much, man. I don't know. It's like, I like barbecue stuff. Like, I like barbecue in terms of like, you know, yeah, like, you know, the act of like grilling meat and like, you know, seasoning it and, you know, but it's like, I don't know, barbecue sauce, it's just like, it's just too much freaking, like, yeah, the smell just overpowers, right? And like, there are just some people who want that. There's some freaking insane people who want freaking to taste more of the ketchup than the fry when eating freaking French fries. And it's like, who are you? Oh man, I don't know, man. It's a thing. Oh god. Yeah, god. Here we are again. I can't come up with anything, so I'm just rehashing just old things. I don't know. Oh man. Yeah, I've been drinking LaCroix, by the way. Yeah, I was drinking LaCroix throughout that. It's good. Yeah, sparkling water. Yeah. Again, okay, a positive thing. Sparkling water. Yeah. Did I talk about everything I needed to in sparkling water? Yeah, it's just good. I mean, you know. Yeah, it's you know, when you need that carbonation, when you just need something refreshing, right? A cold LaCroix just does it, man. It just hits the spot, man. Yeah. Oh, any new music I've been listening to? Yeah, I listen. Yeah, it's not really new, but yeah, I started. Yeah, Florence and the Machine, right? I just listened to the first 2 tracks off of Lungs. Yeah. The interesting thing is that like, I got that CD from the library like 3 years ago. Like, because I started getting CDs from the library in like 2018, 2019. Yeah, and like, I just forgot to put it in my computer, so I just like didn't listen to it, or didn't really, I don't know, expound the effort to get it. But yeah, now I got it from the library again, and it's in my music library, so. Oh yeah, that's also a thing in regards to piracy. It's like, where does that stand, right? Where does, like, you know, getting CDs from the library and ripping them to your computer stand in terms of piracy? Because, like that's the thing, like they're CDs, like they're like that's a function of a CD. It's like am I really gonna be blamed to be like I don't know, like I don't know, obviously it's like I really, yeah, obviously like acting self-righteous as like someone who pirates stuff is like just not a good look, but it's like, look, it's a CD. It's like one of the functions of a CD is that you can put it in the freaking disk drive of a computer and like rip it, right? It's like, yeah, the same thing with like burning a CD. You can burn like tracks, you know, onto a CD, right? Yeah, and that's the whole thing, right? Is like, you know, like the real, you know, bad thing is that like redistributing it, right? Because there are ways you can just like make like burn CDs of like, you know, albums like that, but you know, like like I've never done that. Like I literally am just using a function. I'm literally just like, I want to have the CD on my computer, so yeah. I mean, more really, like I want to have it on my phone because it's like I rip it to my computer, and then put it on my phone. Yeah, yeah. That's also a thing too when I talked about like, yeah, when I said like, you know, like don't take things for granted, right? It's like, yeah, I probably should not take, you know, that thing for granted, right? Like I don't know. It's like that's the thing. Like it's the year 2022 now, right? CDs have been around for a while. Like computers with disk drives are starting to fade away, right? But you can always get like an external like USB, you know, connected like disk drive. But it's like, I don't know. It's I don't know. Hopefully like I'll still be able to do it, you know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because that's the thing, is like, is there gonna be a point where it's like I'll be like, okay, I've had enough music, right? I don't know. You know, I've been thinking of like maybe like there are like a bunch of albums that I don't listen to that like maybe I could like cut like albums, right? I think I mentioned it before, but it's like the bar for me to like remove an album from my music library is so like, you know, the bar for me to keep an album in my music library is so low, because it's like if there's one song on the album like I know I want to listen to again, it's like I like obviously it's like, you know, like I keep it, right? It's like, you know, I have, you know, the Gorillaz album Demon Days mostly because of Feel Good Inc., right? And you know, Dirty Harry too, but it's like, I mean, I don't know. Like I have like, you know, Plastic Beach mostly for on Melancholy Hill, and sometimes like, well, yeah, Rhinestone Eyes is a very good song, but you know, yeah, it's like so many times where it's like, you know, you only have, for the longest time I had, it was the Naked and Famous's first album for like Young Blood and, you know, Punching in a Dream only, but yeah. That's the thing, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the bar for me to like remove an album is like to have no, like absolutely no songs, but it's like, I always get an album and add an album to my library because there is at least one song. Yeah. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, music I've been listening to. Yeah, I listened to the new Always. Yeah, Blue Rev, pretty good. You know, After the Earthquake, I guess, yeah, I liked. There's a new Alt J album I listened to, the first few tracks of it. You know, I like Alt J. I guess I like Alt J more than like a lot of people. A lot more than a lot of people on the Indie Head subreddit. Yeah. Man, I don't know. They're interesting. It's interesting because it's like you know, their first album was like really like kind of like an important like quote indie album, but yeah, since then it's like no one has really cared about them, but it's like they're still like decently popular, right? I don't know, it's weird. yeah, like it's kind of like Glass Animals, except Glass Animals, you know, Heat Waves blew up, so yeah. I mean, you know, any other artists? Yeah. Oh yeah, Modest Mouse. Yeah, I listened to The Moon in Antarctica. The first few songs off of that was interesting. I listened to Lonesome Crowded West last year, right? Yeah, Trucker's Atlas was the only song I really liked, and that's like 10 minutes long. So, yeah. Yeah. Anyways, I guess what needs? Yeah. Any other pressing matters, man? Oh man. Oh yeah, Matt Ryan appreciation tread. Dude, that's, oh man. While the whole Kyrie stuff is going on, it's like, yeah, dude, what a nice freaking win that was for the Lakers, right? Oh man, Matt Ryan. Oh god. The DoorDash driver, man. Literally, the guy was he worked in a cemetery, he was driving DoorDash, like, oh my god, dude. What, and then he like hit a 3-point shot of his life to freaking tie the game. Oh man. Yeah, and send it to overtime. Yeah, anyways, so I don't know. Yeah, I guess that's another episode in the books. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Any other last minute things? Oh man, I don't know. Should I like set up previews for the next episode as to what I'll talk about? Yeah, I should. Yeah, maybe I should start doing that. Yeah, I guess I should probably maybe like start putting it out here, so like when I watch it back on YouTube, like I'll be like, oh, that's what I need to talk about. Yeah, I've been kind of thinking about doing like a blog post about like the current like writing community on Twitter. Like, yeah, nothing negative, but just like my thoughts on it, like my thoughts on like the whole like how basically like the writing community on Twitter is kind of like shifted before my very eyes, right? It's like, I don't know, it's weird. Like the pandemic happened and like I only started really seeing tweets from the writing community on Twitter, like in terms of like, authors and like people who are drafting and like, are querying, right? Yeah, and like this year, I guess. So like I think it's new. Like I feel like a lot of people are like on the younger side, right? A lot of people currently on Twitter right now like are on the younger side, in terms of like, posting like their works in progress and stuff, and like, like posting snippets of their work in progress, or like sharing mood boards, and that's the whole thing. It's like, I really do not know when mood boards became a thing. Like, were they a thing in 2019? Like, were they? Cause like, I remember querying my first book, yeah, like a month after, weeks after I finished it, to agents, right? I only did that to like, what, like 6 or something? Like, yeah, I think like at most like 6 or 7, right? Which is like very low. There's so many people who are like, I queried like 50 agents. I have 100 agents on my list. It's like, oh God, really? I don't know, man. But yeah, I don't know. Like I've just been thinking like I guess maybe I have some thoughts on it and like why I'm not as involved, because like I just feel like, yeah, to me like writing is more of an intimate thing, like there are just so many prompts I see where it's like, share a snippet where this happens, and it's like, yeah, it's like if I'm like, honestly, it's like I'm not on the writing community because it's like, yeah, one, I don't mostly tweet about like writing and like in the drafting process. I don't mostly tweet about that. like if I were like, hey, I'm looking to make writer friends on Twitter, and then it's like, and then they all, and then like maybe a few people follow me, and then I proceed to tweet about the NBA. It's like, dude, what do you, where's your post? Where's your snippets? It's like, yeah, it's like, I don't know. I guess I'm just not comfortable like sharing those. I don't know. I feel like I might be comfortable sharing like poems I wrote for like a class, like 3 years ago, but I don't know. Like, yeah, I'm just not really, I'm just not that type, Yeah, and that's the old, yeah, like I'm just really not, Yeah, I've been, yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, you like the prompts of like, share the moment like one of your characters knew that they were in love with the love interest, and it's like like that's a pretty big part of the story. It's like, I don't know. I'm not knocking anyone who is doing that. I'm not knocking those things, but I don't know. I guess it's like, if I were to expound on it in a blog post, I would just share like, my reasoning, it's like, yeah, which is just mostly like, I just don't feel that comfortable doing it, I don't know. I just like keeping my writing close to my chest, I guess. Yeah, it really is a thing that I don't have beta readers. Yeah, I mean, there could be a time where it's like I could open myself up to that. But yeah, I guess in terms of like, quote, joining the writing community on Twitter, it's like, if I join it, like, it's like I don't tweet about writing that much. Like, I haven't made a mood board. Like, I don't, like, yeah, like, I wouldn't participate in, like, sharing snippets. I wouldn't, like, honestly, like, a lot of the things, happening, a lot of the books, people like hype up on book Twitter, aren't really my thing. It's like, dude, it's like what audiobook I'm listening to right now? I'm listening to friggin' Burn for Burn, right? I'm listening to friggin', like a book that like Jenny Han and Siobhan Vivian wrote in like 2013 or something, in like 2011. It's like, dude, like no one's freaking tweeting about that, like, like I'm not out here like reading freaking book lovers, okay? It's like, I don't know, it's like, yeah, I guess this is just my post now. It's like, I feel like, like it's, yeah, like I'm not saying like I'm an outsider, but it's like, yeah, I'm really not saying that. I'm just saying that, like, I'm just explaining the challenges, I guess, of me like trying to ingratiate myself more into the writing community on Twitter. It's like, it's very much of a certain like type, right? And and like due to like what I currently read, oh yeah, also I'm physically reading Blue Bloods by Melissa De La Cruz, right? Yeah, like a vampire book, but that's like not Twilight, but it was like released the year after Twilight, right? Kind of like, yeah, it's a, urban fantasy, yeah, it's interesting. I kind of liked it. Yeah, I'm about to finish it. Yeah, so yeah, there's a tweet by a person who is in the writing community whose tweets I see a lot, and then they said like, oh, I'm reading like, yeah, they're saying like, oh, I'm reading like a vampire book right now, and there's like none of the things I want. It's literally just like, yeah, there's no like blood, there's no any defining things of like them being vampires other than just they're rich, right? There's no things associated with vampire fiction other than they're rich. And I'm like, wait, are you talking about Blue Bloods? There's like, yeah, I mean, I think once Blue Bloods like introduces the fact that where it's like, oh, these characters are vampires, it gets a lot like more interesting, which I found. But I thought they were talking about Blue Bloods at first. Oh man, yeah. Anyways, I guess those are like the things preventing me from like, I don't know, like trying to like get more followers on Twitter, right? I don't know. I think like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess like I might try, yeah, like if I become a career author, I guess, maybe like, yeah, I will have to. But I think like for me, it's like just having Twitter as a platform, but just not, I guess making like a very concerted attempt to grow it, I guess, is just my thing for now. Because, I'm just like not that, I'm just not that kind of, I just don't think I would like fit very much into the writing community on Twitter. It's like, I really don't think, like, I don't know. It's like, yeah, again, it's like, talking about like tropes and also is the thing, like also is also the subject of a lot of tweets. And I just don't think of like the stories I write only in terms of like tropes, right? I'm not saying that like everyone in the writing community on Twitter does, but I don't know, it's just a lot of what I see, right? Yeah, again, it's like I'm not knocking like this community in the slightest. I am not, but I guess I'm just like being like, I just don't fit in. Oh man, I just don't. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I guess I could expound on it in a blog post if I were to write one, if I were to dust that off. I've been seeing these people post like writer's lips where it's like, post your YouTube channels, post your blogs, and I'm like, post your works in progress, your stories, your poems. And I'm like, should I post my YouTube channel where I have a bunch of Minecraft Let's Plays? Oh man. Anyways, yeah, it's fine. Like, yeah, not interested in getting verified, not interested right now in like trying to be more a part of the writing community on Twitter, but I think eventually there will be a day, especially if I get to the point where I have an agent, right? It's like, yeah, I mean that would I would have to freaking be a part of it then. But yeah, I think it's also a thing like, yeah, don't take things for granted. Like, yeah, that's also a thing that, yeah, like, don't take like your time, don't take the time when you have all the time in the world to like draft a book for granted, right? Because it's like I know that, like, if writing becomes a career, it's like there's gonna be deadlines, right? I know about that, but yeah, I guess I shouldn't be in such of a rush to like finish my book. But yeah, I guess my small update in that is that, like, I feel like I'm basically writing in the middle of writing like the final chapters of it. So yeah, it's gonna be done. It's gonna get done. It's gonna get done soon. If I could just get off this freaking game and just write. But I just like making these too much. Okay. Anyways, so yeah, that's basically it for this episode. Hopefully it was decent and information filled, and yeah, man. Anyways, thank you and good night.